When did your parents' stubbornness completely backfire? My parents were convinced that earning my own money was bad for me. I was 16 and just wanted to help with my sister's chronic medication, but they insisted work would distract me from my studies to one day become a doctor and save our family. I watched them skip meals to afford it. Mom cleaned houses until her hands cracked and bled, making me feel guilty about them. "Look at these," she'd say. "So yours can hold a scalpel, not a mop." Dad worked 2 jobs and his face would go blank whenever his card got declined. I couldn't afford the things my friends had, new shoes, games, but that was nothing compared to watching them drown. Every dinner came with the same guilt trip. "We sacrifice everything so you won't have to." Or my favorite, "Other kids work because their parents failed them. We didn't fail you." They were drowning in bills but too proud to admit it. But my friend's uncle owned a construction company and knew our situation. At a family BBQ, he pulled me aside. "Listen, if you need work, show up at 7 a.m., he said quietly. "Tell your parents whatever. Everyone needs their own money. You never know what's going to happen." That Saturday, I told them I got into free SAT prep that met every Saturday morning. They were sus, but accepted. For 2 years, I showed up at the construction sites. I showered on the site and had my friend's uncle bring me my uniform. I saved most of what I earned, only spending money for my sister's medication, leaving it in the medicine cabinet so they'd think they had an extra refill. They never figured it out. The rest I saved because I felt as if I knew something worse was coming. Well, one Saturday evening I came home from SAT prep covered in concrete dust I tried to wash off at a gas station. My sister was on the couch, groaning and holding her stomach. She looked pale, sweaty, and was complaining to our parents. "It's just your period," Mom said. "Maybe something you ate," Dad added. I walked over and felt her forehead. She was burning up. "We should go to the hospital." "No," Dad snapped. "We're not made of money. Hospitals scam people for simple stomach aches." An hour passed, then 2. My sister's groans turned into whimpers. Real tears were streaming down her face now. I could hear her trying to muffle her cries so she wouldn't bother them. I grabbed my phone to call an ambulance, but then Dad snatched it from my hand. "Stop being dramatic. We're not wasting money on an ambulance for stomach pain. She'll be fine by morning." "Dad, look at her. Go study." They took my phone and sent me to my room. I sat at my desk, pretending to read while listening to my sister suffer through the walls. Every few minutes, a new wave of pain would hit, and she'd cry out. My parents turned up the TV. It had been almost 3 hours. That's when she let out this huge scream, followed by silence and a loud crash. I sprinted out to find my sister collapsed on the bathroom floor, curled in the fetal position. Her face was gray. Now my parents panicked. Dad immediately carried her to the car while Mom grabbed her purse. I snatched my backpack on the way out, knowing exactly what was coming. The emergency room doctor examined her for less than 2 minutes. Her appendix is rupturing. She needs surgery within the hour or it could be fatal. But you see, we grew up in China. Deposit payment is necessary before surgeries. If you don't have it, you're out of luck. Well, the doctor sent my parents to the payment desk on the first floor while nurses prepped my sister upstairs. I followed them down, watching their confidence evaporate as the clerk typed slowly on her computer. 30,000 RMB deposit required before we can begin surgery. My mom's voice cracked. "We don't have that much." The woman just looked at her. "Then I apologize, ma'am, but our daughter is dying." Mom cut her off. "I understand your situation," the woman replied, "but hospital policy requires payment before surgery." I watched my parents slump their shoulders. Dad was frantically opening his banking app. Mom was on her phone calling relatives, all of whom were conveniently not answering. "Please, I'll pay you back double, triple. I swear on my mother's grave." The woman glanced at her watch. "Perhaps you could try a medical loan company? There's one across the street that's still open." My parents looked at each other, completely broken. That's when I opened my backpack and pulled out all my savings. All the money that was required hit the counter with a thud. Dead silence. My parents looked at me. "Where did you get this?" Mom whispered. "I worked. Now please count it," I told the woman. "What? When?" My mom turned to me. "Why does that matter right now?" I shot back. Mom's face went white while the woman took the money and started counting. "You lied to us for 2 years?" Dad added. The woman confirmed the amount was enough and informed the medics to start the surgery on my sister. I stared at my parents, looking at them like they were crazy. I asked them aloud if they were stupid. Big no-no in China. Mom's mouth opened and Dad looked at me like I just slapped his sister. "Your daughter might die and you're mad I worked to save her life." Their faces dropped when I said it, almost as if they hadn't yet rationally thought about the situation. They both went quiet and just sat down. I couldn't tell if they were mad, embarrassed, or what. I sat next to them. 20 minutes passed in complete silence. Then footsteps echoed down the hallway. My friend's uncle walked in. I had called him to let him know. My parents shot their eyes at him and Dad stood up with this huge rage. Full story on channel linked below.